subscribe. Tariq Radio. Watch and subscribe.
Let's get Wasabi. Wasabi. Want to unmute your microphone? There you go.
I think I got it too. Yes, Wasabi means black.
Now, where you from, Wak?
Man, I'm from North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, all the way into Texas, man. My family actually is one of the people who founded one of the cities in Texas. It's a long story too, and they tried to flood it. Got scholarship programs down there. They still got their school. Okay. It's still down here.
What's the name of the town?
Yeah, but what is it? It was something with a W, but it's right next to Caney.
Okay.
Caney City down here. I don't remember it all right. My mom would tell me stories about it. I don't remember everything. But anyway, yeah, I was going to say, man, you funny as hell. Yeah, you be having me rolling on this joint. And I've been having a whole bunch of those little gesticular things popping up and shit. There's something wrong with my computer and shit. I just want to apologize for that. Yo, salute you and keep doing your thing. And I think tank thing is, man, that's like top-notch level stuff, man. We've been talking about
we got to get that thing popping for real, for real. Let's get Miss Kitty in. Miss Kitty? Miss Kitty, and then...
Yeah, what's happening, Flex? What's happening, Flex?
What's going on? Okay, I'm thinking Miss Kitty's gonna be a woman. Okay.
I do escorts as the niggas have popping, but check this out, man. What we got this guy that was on
your phone is a little janky, brother. Can you take your earpiece?
What about
it's janky?
Can you hear me now?
There you go, much better. There you go.
Yeah, sorry about that, man. Yeah, a lot of these tethers, man, especially this last dude, we got a lot of white worship with these guys, man. When they call up, they keep saying we backed up by the. It's just a lot of white worship. I can't even really listen to it a lot, but when we hear people talk like that, that's a lot where a lot of that's coming from, man. They just worship white people so much they can't really see anything else, and that's kind of why they position they in, not building up their homelands, trying to backs of us. So I just want to shout that out.
Right. Thank you. But yeah, he kept mentioning, y'all doing good because the white people, y'all got the white people backing y'all. No. Where are we getting back by the white people? Dude, we do well in spite of them. They don't back what we do. And in fact, they try to hinder everything we do. It's the opposite. We get hindered. Man, we don't get the same loans, and when we try to get businesses, and when we do scrape up the money, they sabotage it. Dude, we just stay on our square. We just keep rebuilding, and we still understand what the issue is, and we try to get compensation for it, but we still continue to rebuild and rebuild and rebuild. Let's get I Can't Get Fired. That's his name. I Can't Get Fired. Hop on, sir.
Yo, Tariq, what's good,
what's
bro?
Up, brother? How are you?
I'm good. It just coincidence that you guys were just talking to a guy from Jamaica, because I'm actually from Jamaica, Queens, but so not Jamaica, the island. Okay. I just wanted to tap in with you because I'm actually fairly new to these spaces, but I'm learning a lot, as far as with the whole Lineage thing and the FBA. Fortunately for me, it was easy for me because I am what people would call a FBA. Okay. So as I'm traveling through these spaces, right, I'm coming across a lot of characters, a lot of good people. And I noticed that people tend to talk highly of you, right? So they will put you in like the big homie category is what I'm noticing, which is dope, right? Which is super dope. So I figure, certain questions, it would be best to maybe if I could get a chance to ask you, right? Because a lot of these people who are running around. So for instance, when I first came into the space, I guess I got put in this thing called like a lineage check. They want to know my grandparents, whatever. All of that checked out. Wilson's, North Carolina, last name Farmer, everything checked out. But now there's this new thing going on amongst, the same similar community who kind of look up to you. And, they got these trivias going on with that if someone doesn't know who Fred Sanford cousin was, or things like that, then they're actually telling them that you're not FBA based on that.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is weird to me. So I don't like, is this like a thing? Is this real?
No. Cass is just kind of trolling and just kind of clowning and roasting and just kind of having fun with stuff in the spaces. So some of that stuff, you can't take too much stock in it. That's just people kind of trolling around. So because I don't remember what Fred Sanford's cousin's name was in Sanford and Son. So all right, yeah, stuff like that is like whatever. All right, let's get Dre. Dre, hop in, Dre.
Tariq, why pray? What go on?
What's going on, Dre? You're Jamaican, right?
Yeah, real Tedder from the islands. Pro Tedder.
Okay.
That me I make you know. So suck your mother.
Oh,
Pussy.
okay. Yeah, you're fake. You're fake Jamaican.
Suck your mother.
Yeah, y'all
Nobody no fake.
almost.
I don't know real fake Jamaica. You batty boy, you pussy.
No. That accent is a little fake now.
So suck your mother.
No.
Real Jamaican.
No, you're not.
We support Trump. Suck your mother.
No, you're not.
My God, we just want to tell her that.
Uh,
You batty boy.
okay. Yeah, you'll only learn 3 words and just repeating that over and over. So yeah. Your accent is real fake. Let's get Peter. Let's get Peter in here.
Hey Tariq, what's going on? I've been in a couple of your spaces. I enjoy them. I was in a couple of FBA spaces earlier in the week, and I guess some of the questions I had were regarding who are the biggest representations or the representatives for the platform at a national level, and from what I've been hearing, it's Reparations is the biggest push for the FBA platform. Would that be correct?
Yeah, well, that's one of the biggest national issues surrounding foundational Black Americans. That was a big political issue because it was political season. So we're still pushing for reparations. That's a big thing. That's one of the big things. But yeah, what about it?
What politicians do you have or lobbyists that you have that would help to make that come to fruition?
Well, any of them can do it. But the thing is, they're trying to stall us out and play these little games and talk about reparations while redefining what it is. And that's a problem. So we are making sure that they're standing on real reparations business, meaning cash payments to foundational Black Americans. So a lot of them are playing games. The Democrats were supposed to stand on their square. They tried to play a game of chicken with us. They thought we were going to fall off and let the issue drop and still support them. And we made the Democrats crash and burn. So they see how serious we are and how we're exercising our collective power surrounding reparations. That makes sense?
Yeah. So would you guys say that you are moving over or have moved over to the Republican Party, or you're looking to start a new party?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's not even about political parties. Either one of them can do it. It's all about just us staying focused and staying on our square. So we're going to keep up that narrative, and whoever wants to get in office and say, hey, let me get that Black vote because we vote as a block, sooner or later, somebody's going to say, hey, I want that Black voting block. So let me do what these people need me to do. So we got time. We're just waiting on people to come through with the right narrative. We're waiting on the right politician, waiting on the right political structure, whoever, but they can give it, because if they're giving resources to all of these immigrant groups and they're not even citizens, and that's bipartisan, they can do the same thing for us, right?
Is it okay? Is there a schism in the group as far as Black women versus Black men? Because you saw 85% of Black women voted for Kamala in the election.
Now, what group? What group are you talking about?
It wasn't delineated by like subcategory of the group. It just said Black women overall. I think 85% was the number I saw came out for the Democrats and Kamala Harris, and Black men. It was much less, and a lot of them went over to the Republican Party and to Trump.
What? But what group? You keep saying group. What group? What group are you talking about?
Oh, I guess Black Americans, right, or African Americans as a whole.
It's 43 million Black Americans, so yes, people are going to vote different ways.
Well, no, because prior to this, you said that you guys are a voting block. You like blacks are a voting block. Like,
yeah, we are voting.
So,
And a significant number of us did not support the Democrats this time. And that made them crash and burn because, see, what they need the great majority of us to vote for a certain party in order for them to win. If we start fracturing off, that's going to spell trouble for the Democrats. And I want us to stop depending on the Democrats altogether and just not be married to any party. Unfortunately, you're going to have people who are still going to be loyal. But fortunately, you have a certain segment of society who said, hey, we want to test our options. And that made the Democrats crash and burn. And I love it.
Cool. Where do you think we're going in the next 4 years as far as the economy and everything that Elon Musk wants to do?
Right. To be honest, looks like everything is going to be kind of on a decline because the white supremacists, they're doing desperation moves. This little thing with Daniel Penny, that's a very bad look for the white supremacists because it's desperate. Them letting him get off for that little lynching he did to a special needs Michael Jackson impersonator, that makes the US and it makes the white supremacists look real weak, and it makes them look desperate. And in any empire, when the ruling class, they start doing real just overtly degenerate, desperate moves to extremely weak people, that's a sign of a decline. Trump just paraded Penny around at that game today. I said he was going to do this a few days ago. I already knew what the play was going to be. Right after Penny got acquitted, I said, well, the Trump administration, they're going to start parading him around. Sure enough, less than a week they did. So you can predict the moves of the dominant society and the little weak, little fake chess moves that they do to try to be antagonistic, but it really makes them look bad. So I see I see some grim times coming. So it's best that the dominant society do right by us so that they can get that moral capital up, and then we can start getting the economy energized as foundational Black Americans. The the key to the success of this nation is to do right by foundational Black Americans. There's no way around that.
In regards to the Penny case, and in regards to, I guess, the broader issue of self-defense, right? So that there was an issue surrounding that where a lot of people were saying it wasn't self-defense because he didn't attack anybody. If somebody does attack you, let's say they were to punch you, do you think it would be fair for them to pull out a knife and to stab them after they punched you?
That ain't got nothing to do with that case. See, I don't like that woulda, coulda, shoulda, imaginary scenario nonsense when it comes to a lynching. This man was lynched. It was an innocent Black man who didn't touch anybody, who was straight up and down lynched. And there was no reason, there was no justification for it. They used the old I'm white and I say so law, which is what they always use for lynchings. Oh, that Black man raped a white woman, but he wasn't near her. But oh, we say he was. So they just use I'm white and I say so, lynched him, and then the liberal court system let him off. And that shows the weakness of this society. You're still
Well,
allowing lynchings in this day and age. Go ahead.
the reason I floated that scenario is there was a parody case about a month after this happened, the Neely case. I think the gentleman's name was Jordan Williams. It happened on this in the same area in Brooklyn, and this man was on a train with his girlfriend. He was African American, or he's black, and there was a lunatic on the train, and
Who was
he was
stabbing?
no, the lunatic actually threatened, or first came up to his girlfriend.
No, no, the lunatic was actually attacking people. He was physically attacking people.
Yeah, he punched the guy. He punched Jordan Williams, right? And Jordan Williams decided to escalate the level of force used and pulled a knife out and stabbed him.
Right.
So,
Not the same thing. Not the same thing as
well,
Jordan.
right, but that was the question I was trying to ask you. Do you think it's okay if somebody punches you to pull out a knife and stab them to death?
No, if there's some physical altercations where somebody's getting beaten or whatever, then you can defend yourself. That's a self-defense thing. People keep trying to falsely equate that with the Jordan Neely situation. It's not the same. Jordan Neely didn't touch anybody. He wasn't harming anybody. And the white supremacists are the main ones talking about First Amendment. You got the right to say whatever. Jordan Neely was talking to himself. He didn't do anything to anybody. He just got lynched. Not only did he get lynched, he didn't even see who killed him. Daniel Penny snuck up from behind, man. He snuck up on the guy. He didn't say, hey, stop, sit down, no warning. He just snuck up on a guy and lynched him and then got off. And now they're parading this guy around like a hero because he killed an innocent special needs black person. So that was very cowardly, and that looks bad on the white supremacist, which is good. I'm glad that you're making yourselves look bad to the white supremacists. That's a horrible.
Did
Go ahead.
Do you think there was and I'm interested in both of them, right? And my interest comes down to DA Alvin Bragg and the apparatus that was installed there by the Soros regime and the Soros money changers. It goes back to the grand jury, right? So the grand jury was the one who decided not to indict Jordan Williams for the stabbing. And I'd really love to be able to explore what was said to the grand jury and try to get those grand jury minutes to see what was used and how the case was framed for the grand jury.
Deflections, man. That's just a deflection to get away from the damn lynching. That's a deflection, sir. That's a
But
deflection.
it's not, because it goes to the heart of what self-defense is.
No, it doesn't. That's a deflect. Jordan Neely's case wasn't a self-defense case. When you sneak up on a special needs person and kill him from the back, that ain't got nothing to do with self-defense.
Well, if you look at the definition, Tariq, of assault, right? Assault says that you're creating a real threat of fear of potential death or serious bodily injury.
I'm white and I say so because white supremacists do that to black people all the time. Black people are threatened by white supremacists all the time, and they never get punished for that. We get called the N-word, we get threatened, black children get threatened all the time, and the defense they use, well, it's the First Amendment. It's freedom of speech. I have the right to say whatever I want to say. It's just words, even if the words are threatening. When it comes to us, they are allowed to say anything, no matter how threatening the words are. Even with Kyle Rittenhouse, who's America's white supremacist hero. There's video of him talking about, I wish I had a gun to shoot those protesters. So he was verbally making threats. He came to that city with a gun and made good on those threats, and they still let that man off, talking about some damn self-defense. You drove to a city proactively with a gun looking for trouble, and you got to use the self-defense lie, which is basically, I'm white and I say so. It all boils down to I'm white and I say so, which is the heart of white supremacy. And when you get that desperate, that shows that your society is on the decline. White supremacist society, they're doing weak moves like that, they're on the decline, just like the Roman Empire. When they started doing little weird, weak, degenerate things, attacking some of the weak members of society, that was the beginning of the end for them.
But threats aren't covered by the First Amendment.
Um,
So you
You've threatened black people, it is. Yes, it is. You can say stuff to black people and it's First Amendment. You have white supremacist groups who run out here all the time yelling and antagonizing black people in front of the police. There's one white supremacist, he calls here all the time. There's videos of him threatening black children in front of the police. They don't do anything to this guy. He uses that whole First Amendment argument. So yeah, if you're talking to a black person, you can threaten us, and it's under the damn First Amendment. It absolutely is. Not
well,
only
Jordan Williams was able to use and assert self-defense, and the grand jury chose not to indict him. So, I mean, that's
not the same thing as Jordan Neely.
it's not the same thing insofar as the individual was actually using physical violence. But Jordan Neely was threatening people on the train. I mean, that was the testimony if you listen to the trial testimony.
Do anything. He was just talking to himself. He was special needs. He wasn't.
I mean, there were people on the train, there were black people on the train that said they felt that the most fear they ever felt in their life, and they've ridden the train for 30 years.
Those were immigrants, sir. Those
Okay.
were Asian black Americans. Those were melanated immigrants.
And so that denigrates the ability of them to say that the threat was something that made them feel fear?
White supremacists try to use their melanin as a cover for their white supremacy, talking about well, there were some black people who didn't like it too. These were some melanated immigrants who, like the man who called earlier, wanted to get in close with the white supremacists. They weren't, listen, I've been to New York. They weren't afraid of some little skinny Michael Jackson impersonator yelling on a train. You go to New York, people are acting a goddamn fool on the train every single day. That's not the most feared they were in their whole lives. I don't believe that at all. You go to New York now and get on the train, and there's going to be somebody on there acting a damn fool. That's what it is in New York. They just got a free kill in. That was a lynching.
Do you support self-defense in America?
Do you support white supremacy and lynching, sir?
No, of course not.
If you
That's
support,
absurd.
like
That's
you
absurd.
Penny, if you support Daniel Penny, that's supporting lynchings.
That's a fallacious argument, and there's no standing to say that. Daniel Penny literally was defending the people on the
Oh,
train
oh,
from a lunatic.
no, he wasn't. You killed a special needs Michael Jackson impersonator who was 120 pounds soaking wet, who wasn't doing anything to anybody. That was
He
a
was high on K2,
that was a racial
and
lynching. That was a racial lynching, sir. Nothing more, nothing less.
I mean, listen, I respect your right to have an opinion on it and to say whatever you want. I just think that wholesale America has rejected that argument, and you see it by
Those,
Donald Trump and J.D. Vance having him at the Army Navy game
those,
today and him
those
being considered a national hero.
because he killed a black person. That's the only reason why. They've always made national heroes of anti-black racists. When have they not done that?
When have they not? I mean,
When have they
do you
national?
think this identity politics narrative is going to help your cause?
So, what are you talking about?
The narrative that you're painting is that this is a black and white issue when
It is.
it's further from the truth.
I mean, help.
This was a self-defense issue, and it
But
illustrates. Go ahead, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't self-defense. You can say that until you're blue in the face. That's I'm white and I say so, and I'm white and I say so is invalid, sir.
Well, the jury spoke otherwise. So, and the
I,
jury was composed
I,
of
I
people who
say
were black as well.
they were white people. Those were white women primarily on that jury. It weren't
There was
black.
no black people that
I
made the
think
decision.
it was one melanated person, and we think that person is Caribbean. There were a bunch of white women on that jury, sir. They
I
and
notice you have every answer you have is related to saying that somebody is if they are melanated, that they're from the Caribbean.
right. Because y'all play this game, y'all try to hide your racism behind some melanated person talking about they're black, and most likely those people are some kind of melanated immigrant. Just like with the Trayvon Martin case, they tried to hide behind some Afro Latino talking about, well, that's a person of color. They went along with Zimmerman. No, that's a damn immigrant. So they're not on the same page as us. Many of those melanated immigrants are classified as white. That's why I bring that up. Just like with the Proud Boys, they like to bring out Enrique Tarrio talking about, well, look, Enrique, the Proud Boys, the president is black. How can we be racist if the president is black? He's an Afro-Cuban who's documented white. On his arrest records, he's listed as white. So that's why we point that out. A lot of these melanated immigrants look at themselves as dark Europeans. So they have the same warped anti-black and anti-foundational black American views as your fellow white supremacists.
How do you feel about firearms, Tariq? Do you think that black Americans should own firearms?
Of course I do.
Okay. And
Uh,
do you think they should be able to use those firearms to defend themselves and their families if they're in a threatening situation?
yeah, but unfortunately, we still have to deal with white supremacy. Why do you think that the white supremacists will deny us our Second Amendment rights by using the I'm white and I say so law? Like Philando Castile, an innocent black man who got shot just because he said he had a gun with him when he got pulled over, and he had a gun license and got shot anyway, and then the guy was let off too. How do you feel about that?
I don't think that's correct. I don't agree with that.
Right.
I'm for Second Amendment rights. I'm for everybody owning as many firearms as possible. I'm for
Right.
3D printing of firearms so
Hmm.
that you could just print them right at your house and you could print your ammunition at your house. I'm for felons after they finish serving their sentence, having their gun rights restored to be able to own firearms. What do you think about that? Are you for that?
Yeah, but the thing is, when we do it, we still get shot. Yeah, we still get
When
shot.
you
Even in
when you
open,
do what? When you
when
carry firearms?
we have guns, we still get targeted, and our Second Amendment rights are still violated. Even out here in California, when when Huey P. Newton and the Black Panthers saw the loophole, saying that you can open carry, They found out all these black men were going to start open carrying their guns. They went and just changed the laws.
Yeah, well, they got subverted by the FBI as well. So you had major infiltration in
Who
those
got
organizations.
it wasn't about no. The laws weren't so about the FBI. When they found out that black people were going to start doing open carry, they ran and changed the gun laws. They said, "Oops, no more open carry in California. Let's stop that." And that was strictly because of the Black Panthers being able to carry. When we start doing stuff, the laws start getting changed, and it's based
But I,
on race. It's based on race.
I think that we're on the same page as far as defense goes, because I think that we're both of us agree with having less state influence and power.
No, we're
And
not.
so that
We're not on the same page because black people are not allowed. Let me tell you something. Black people, name me a case where a black person was able to sneak up on a white person and choke them and kill them and get off. Name one case. And
I,
claim
I mean, I can't name one off the top of my head. I could maybe research it. I don't know.
they don't exist. So it's racial. The
I mean,
fact
I disagree with the
that
narrative that
yeah,
that
it's racial. Name a case like Zimmerman, where a black person followed a white kid home, and the white kid got into a fight, and he killed the white kid, and then you got off.
yeah, I can't come up with that off the top of my head either. What I can say is I disagree with the narrative that Jordan Neely was just, peacefully dancing on the train. I think that he was threatening people,
Yeah,
and
he
that
got lynched. He got lynched, and there's no opposite where there's a situation where a black person did the same thing and got off. It's always the white people getting off for doing stuff
was
like
the black person who held Jordan Neely's hand, one of the other two people who was helping to restrain him. Was he also from the
that. Was
Caribbean?
no, it was a Latino, and there was an African dude on the train too. So yeah, these were
So
not.
he's not considered like an FBI. He's because he's African.
Yeah, by definition, if you're African, you're not a foundational Black American.
I got you. So anybody who is melanated but is not an FBA, they are not considered. They wouldn't consider to be have the correct logic, and they would still be influenced by white supremacy. That's the premise.
I didn't say all that. I didn't say all that. It's a case by case situation. But the thing is, you can't get your melanated immigrants and try to use them as your shield because the jig is up with that. The jig is up with that. We see that for what it is. Even with juries, they know how to get certain quote unquote people of color who's not going to be on code with us and who's going to have anti-black views as well. So the white supremacists are very meticulous as far as that. That's why we've delineated because we
When are you running for office, Tariq?
now if I ran for office, they'd shoot me the
Oh, come on, man. I think you would be good. You have a great voice, and I think
I would
you're the voice of this movement.
they would shoot me the first day I got at that podium. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would do that. I like to stay low key with it. I like to stay low key.
All right.
Um, my man. Now, where you from, by the way?
I'm from Jersey.
You're from Jersey. There you go. You're Italian.
I am. I'm Sicilian with a little sprinkle of Irish.
There you go. So you're a fellow Negro. You're
Absolutely.
yes,
I,
indeed.
I like to say I'm light skinned.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Because the Moors were really going to town up there in Sicily.
They
And
definitely were.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
My grandfather came over here. Actually, no, I'm sorry. He was born here, so my great grandfather came over from Sicily.
Hmm.
Um, and my grandfather was born in New York and then joined the American Mafia.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They were getting their organized crime on. They were getting it on.
Yeah.
Indeed. My
But
man.
then my dad and myself are legit guys, and we left that alone. Didn't want that, we didn't want that for either of us. So I think I encourage a lot of people to try to examine where they came from and then move forward upwardly. And I think we're going to see the greatest era of prosperity ever in the history of America in the next 4 years. And I think that everybody in here should pay attention and take advantage of it because you have the opportunity to potentially retire your bloodline permanently and really create generational wealth. So I think everyone should pay attention.
There. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. When I knew the Trump administration, they were gonna parade Daniel Penny around like a hero. And the only reason, don't let these people lie. I'm just not going to let them lie to me. I don't want to hear about, oh, it wasn't about race. It was about some self-defense. It was about a lynching. This was a racial lynching. He got off because he was white. A white person killing a black person. The odds are stacked in your favor. White supremacist society will support you. And now you get paraded around as a hero for killing a black person. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. You're not going to gaslight me. You're not going to gaslight us. Just call it for what it is, because they start playing these little word games, and he keeps trying to notice the guy kept trying to talk about guns and self-defense and gun ownership and homelessness. Yeah, with the Jordan Neely thing, they're talking about mental illness. Oh, we got to do a problem. It's a problem with the homeless. Black family, please stop letting them deflect. When it comes to the Jordan Neely lynching, you take control of the damn narrative. Don't let them take you all around the world on a roller coaster. What happened to Jordan Neely was not a homeless problem. It wasn't a mentally ill problem. It wasn't a self-defense problem. This was a racial lynching. Nothing more, nothing less. From the tradition of racial lynchings. It was nothing but anti-black lynching. That's all it was. Stop letting these people reframe their white supremacist nonsense. Have them own that shit. That's what we have to do. We got to stop letting them make us talk in circles about bullshit. Make them own that lynching like y'all used to do. Y'all would own your lynchings and take pictures and put them on postcards and send them to your families. Own it. You think? Make them own it now, because that's going to make them further decline, because it's so degenerate. That's going to chip away at the morality of them, because subconsciously some of them are going to feel a certain way. You know, it's a degenerate thing to do. Like I said earlier, when you start doing degenerate stuff like that openly and celebrating it, your society is collapsing. White supremacist society is starting to collapse. That happened with the fall of Rome, when they started doing all that degenerate stuff and trying to subjugate the weaker groups of people, because they exhaust their resources doing that. They start falling off. You understand? That happened with Spain and some of their empires. When the Spanish were able to explore and come out here to the Western Hemisphere and set up their little colonies, they exhausted a lot of resources subjugating the people and just getting into a lot of real weird degenerate stuff. And then what happened was they didn't have the resources to fend off some of these other competitive empires, the British and the French and all of these other people. So they started to fall off, and then they eventually lost a lot of their power. You see? So we got to understand how that game works. When these people start doing all this degenerate stuff, that's the beginning of the end. And trying to persecute people based on race, it takes a lot of resources to do that. You see, you got to spend a lot of money internally to do that. Now, what are we seeing now? Since they're parading around this Daniel Penny guy for killing a black person, and now they got to step up their internal military to subjugate us, to make sure we don't rise up, while they're focusing on us and trying to antagonize us. They got these weird drones that's all over the place. Y'all notice that? These weird ass drones are popping up in Jersey, as a matter of fact. The guy who called up was in Jersey. These weird little drones and aircrafts popping up in Jersey. They're saying that some of those weird little aircrafts are up in DC now. We don't know where this stuff is coming from. It sounds like some type of outside, possibly hostile forces. You see? This is what I'm saying. So we don't know what's cooking right now, since y'all want to act like some damn degenerates against us. Because when shit goes down, y'all gonna need us to help you step up. You see? So that's what I said. It's going to be a very interesting 4 years coming up. This is going to be very interesting.
You wait, you wait. Yeah, 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 yeah. You wait, you wait. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. You wait, you wait.